Hi everybody, welcome back to the channel. Well, it's such a cold day here in the Pacific Northwest. I just want to sit by the fire, so I thought I'd move everything over here and stay snuggly warm. Well, this video is actually a second intro to my next video. The next video, I've already recorded it. It's a little bit longer for what we do here on this channel, but it removes such a big man-made tradition that I just want to make it as easy as possible for all of us to let go of that tradition as I possibly can. And also we have some new Bible prophecy students on the channel, and so I think I'm going to just go over the community post I posted this afternoon, because again, once we understand that there are three snatchings, Bible prophecy basically self-assembles. But getting used to having there be two raptures and a snatching of the wheat and tares, that's kind of hard for some people to get used to, because the church has been arguing for so long over where to place one rapture when there's actually numerous. Okay, so what I posted today in our community post, let me see, today is November 9th. It was the order of end time events, and I put in here that the books of Isaiah and Revelation are not written in chronological order, and that's kind of a hiccup to a lot of people when they realize that. But in Revelation, a lot of things are overlapping. There's just a lot going on in heaven and on earth during the 7-year tribulation, Daniel's 70th week. And the book of Isaiah has a lot of the components of the book of Revelation in it. And Isaiah is not written in chronological order either. So the Jews are used to that. So I want to start out here and go through this order of end time events just very quickly. We're going to talk about the pre-trib rapture of the helpmate bride. There's no signs. The rapture of the bride is the sign. You're going to be the sign. Yeah, that's going to be a heads up to the left behind. And the left behind, they are absolutely, the church is saved. It just means you're a lot more passionate about Jesus Christ, the Word, than the church is. You're studying, you're doing deep dives into the Word, and you're reading passages in their entire context, whereas a lot are just cherry picking. So the pre-trib rapture of the helpmate bride is the next thing on God's schedule. Then believing Israel will be grafted into the church. We know this because the two witnesses go into Jerusalem and they are prophesying, and the 144,000 Jewish evangelists, 12,000 from each tribe, they're evangelizing, and that fulfills the prophecy of Romans 11. Paul told us that the Jews would be grafted back into the church, back into the household of God. They're the bookends of the church. Okay, now, something that we haven't talked too much on this channel, but there's a possible gap in between the pre-trib rapture of the bride and when the tribulation actually begins. Many claim or teaching that the tribulation begins as soon as the bride is gone. That is not the case. The tribulation begins when a covenant is confirmed with the many, as stated in Daniel 9:27. And there could be a gap. I'm kind of percolating. Our team is, we're speculating. We have different thoughts on it, but let's, consider that it will be a 6-month gap in between the pre-trib rapture of the bride and a covenant being confirmed with the many, Daniel 9:27. And the reason why I'm asking you to consider 6 months is because then that means there will be 4 years in between the pre-trib rapture and the mid-trib rapture of the church. 4 years, 4 days. Lazarus was in the tomb for 4 days. So, it kind of fulfills some cyclical prophecies. So then, after that, there's going to be a global harvest of souls brought into the globally persecuted church. Right now, persecution is regional. Here in the United States, where I'm from, there's not a lot of persecution. I'm not being killed for believing in Christ. I'm not losing my job for believing in Christ. My family's not disowning me. However, we know there are many locations on the earth, has been for 2,000 years, where Christians are persecuted. But what happens when the tribulation starts is, and that global evangelizing by the 144,000 evangelists, Jews and Gentiles will be flocking into the church. And there's going to be tremendous amount of persecution in every region, every city. Okay, then we're going to be approaching the mid-trib rapture. So God, by His grace and His mercy, has provided many signs for that approaching mid-trib rapture of the church, because He, that's the last call. He does not want any of the church left behind. But we know there's still going to be sleepy members of the church left behind at mid-trib also, just like there'll be sleepy members left behind at pre-trib. So signs and wonders in the skies are certainly going to happen when the dragon sends a third of his angels to the earth. He sweeps a third of his stars out of heaven, angels, with his tail, posts them down to the earth. And then we know that the 2 witnesses are killed in Jerusalem, and a group of Jews flee to the wilderness when they see that happen. And so that's one of the purposes for the serpent to throw a third of his angels that are up in the heavens down to earth to torment those Jews that are fleeing to the wilderness. Okay, then we actually have the mid-trib day counts of when the church is raptured. So the mid-trib rapture of the church is 3.5 days after the 2 witnesses are killed. Okay, so they're killed, they lie in the street for 3.5 days, then they're resurrected, they're raptured into heaven. They hear that voice, come up here. So that's going on in Jerusalem. The whole world is watching. Well, at the same time, simultaneously, Jews have fled to the wilderness, and those who are believers and ready to go up, dedicated to Jesus, they're raptured at the same time. The global church is raptured. It's just that the book of Revelation is focusing on the Jews, the nation of Israel. But the global church goes up. So we have those day counts. They don't know the hour. It will be posted in their spirits, those who are dedicated. Okay, so now, once the church gets up there, up in heaven, the glorified church, well, the red dragon and his remaining angels, they're thrown down to earth by the glorified church and the righteous angels. That is when the period called the Great Tribulation begins. That begins the second half of Daniel's 70th week. And that point in time is also called the time of Jacob's trouble, because at that point, the beast is going after the whole nation of Israel. Whereas the first 3.5 years, unbelieving Israel were part of the beast system, helping the beast system, persecuting their countrymen who were becoming Christians, just like Paul was persecuted by his own countrymen. But at mid-trib, when the beast breaks that covenant with Israel, then even non-believing Israel realizes, we're in trouble here, because the beast comes after them as well. And so that time of Jacob's trouble is that last 3.5 years of the tribulation, and it's called the Great Tribulation for the whole world, because when that red dragon is thrown down, that's when he's called the Great Red Dragon. Okay, now, once the church goes up and have been victorious in throwing down the dragon, the devil, and his angels, well, then we've got all of heaven's citizens up in heaven. All of heaven's citizens, the church, the bride are up there. They've been up there for a while. The martyred saints, they're resting underneath the altar. Well, then that's the wedding of the bride and groom. But we need to take the focus off of the bride, because that ceremony, it's actually the coronation of our King, Jesus Christ. And he is crowned king, ceremonially crowned king on his wedding day. Song of Songs, chapter 3, verse 11. See, there's not a wedding at the pre-trib rapture of the bride, because the church isn't up there yet. And it's really not a wedding, it's a coronation ceremony. We've just got to Stop being such a diva and making it all about us, and put the focus back on Jesus so that we can understand more of the prophecies. So Jesus is going to be ceremonially crowned king. Although he's king now, he was born a king. But like King David, the day he was anointed, he wasn't ceremonially in front of all of his subjects crowned king on that day. So we really need to understand this and put the focus back on Jesus and give him the honor. And let him, be looking forward to that day. Okay, so now after Jesus is crowned king on his wedding day, well, Deuteronomy 24:5 tells us the bride and groom go off for 1 year. We're going to be in our chambers with him. At that time, all hell is breaking loose on earth. Jerusalem will be destroyed by the Arab neighbors. All these people they're making Abraham Accord covenants with, they're going to turn on Israel. So when the Arabs flood Jerusalem, it's going to be destroyed. Many Jews are going to be killed. Many are going to be taken off to slavery. The remnants can be scattered all over the Middle East. Okay, so throughout that last 3.5 years of Daniel's 70th week, the beast and his administration are in full power. Then here comes the second step of the mark of the beast. This one is spiritual. The first one, and up until mid-trib, that is a physical mark. But see, the mark of the beast is 2 steps. Just like Eve took the mark first and then Adam, okay? The natural comes first and then the spiritual. That's why the curse did not come on the earth until Adam ate from the tree, from the serpent's tree. When Eve ate, nothing happened. She could have repented. Okay, we've done enough videos on that, but it's very important to understand here that after that mid-trib rapture, the church is gone. But now the mark happened, the second step. And people are going to be asked to make an image to the beast. That could involve Meta, that could involve the giant project, where everybody makes an image of themselves. And in Revelation 13:15, when the image receives breath, spirit, that is a blaspheming spirit, because the only sin that is not forgiven is a blaspheming spirit. Well, that's what is going to go into every person who makes an image to the beast. Kind of like the golden calf being made in the wilderness. So when people make an image of themselves, an avatar, we don't fully know. Okay, I don't want to spend too much time on that. Okay, now, the remnant, the surviving remnant of Israel, and there will be a surviving remnant of the Gentile nations as well. But the remnant, all over the world, they're going to suffer terribly. They're going to be humbled. They're going to call on God. If you read the book of Lamentations, you have insight into what it's going to be like for the Jewish remnant. But, the Gentile remnant will be suffering greatly as well. But it's a time for humbling the Jews, especially because the book of Revelation, it's God working with the Jews, his nation Israel, because they have such a great calling on their life during that millennial reign of Christ. Okay, now, when Israel's enemies go too far, and they will almost destroy Israel, but so that flesh can be preserved, the days are shortened. So after that year, when the bride and groom are locked into their chamber, the enemy has free reign against Israel. It's going to be terrible. But when they go too far, and when that year is up for the bride and groom, they come out of their chamber, all of heaven's armies suit up. There's going to be signs and wonders in the sky. In Luke chapter 17, verses 28 through 30, Jesus says that when the Son of Man is revealed, there'll be signs as in the days of Noah and as in the days of Lot. When Jesus comes back, that's when he's called the Son of Man. Anytime he's on earth, dealing with earth issues, that's when he's referred to as the Son of Man. When he's in heaven, he's the branch, the groom, our king, all those other titles. But when he's on the earth, he's the Son of Man. So Luke 17, that's when he is revealed. And there is going to be signs and wonders in the skies during that time. The tares are going to be gathered, and they're going to be all taken to places of burning all around the world. There's going to be places of burning. Then the wheat is snatched, and they are taken to an ark of safety. They're going to be preserved. Is it going to be, is the earth going to open up and like they come into the caves and they're saved? You know, David spent a lot of time in the caves being preserved. But they're going to be taken to an ark of safety. They will remain mortal. See, that's that third snatching. God needs to remove the righteous, those who have called on him during that second half of the tribulation. God is going to preserve them. He's got a great purpose for them. So they've got to come off the earth or be hidden under the earth so that all the enemy, the wicked, the hybrids, the Nephilim spirits, the Rephaim, so that they're all destroyed. Okay, so that's kind of it in a nutshell. I just want to make this a very quick video and make it a little bit easier for the next video I post that's going to remove a big tradition. Okay, I'll let you go, but thank you so much for watching, and I will talk to you later. Bye!